Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So it would say this day of whatever your offer date is. And you'd put the address here. I'm sorry, the date here. You would say the property that you're putting the offer in on. Hopefully they have this uploaded in MLS already filled out, but a lot of times I would say more often than not, this is not filled out. You'll put your buyer's name here, the listing broker's information, the selling broker's information, and what percentage is offered in MLS or what you're agreeing to be paid. So if you are doing a personal property and you want 0%, you'd put 0% here. But usually in MLS, it'll say 2 or 3%, and that's what you would put here, whatever you're being compensated for selling this property. Does that make sense?
The MLS is your protection on how you get paid and what you get paid. So whatever they have listed in MLS is what that brokerage is obligated to billage for. If you change it, it's really important you fill this out. If you change that amount, if they offered 3, but you're writing this for your son and you're going to take 1 instead of 3, this is where you would note that here.
Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. That's how you get paid.
So real quickly, just so I understand this, you do, as long as it's spelled out on the MLS, you do not have to do this form, or you should do it.
Well,
You
we
have
require
to.
a form and most brokerages require it, but technically, no, you wouldn't have to. That form was originally developed if you were going to change the compensation to something different than what was offered in MLS. But just about all firms now want that in their file.
Lyle, as your broker, you have to do that form every time.
Yep.
Okay,
So yes, no, but yes.
that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, Lyle, the
Yes.
thing is, Lyle, about 30% of the time you will see the listing broker has already filled that out, and they've included that in the MLS for the documents to you to complete. But if there is not one in the MLS, you will want to submit one of those filled out when you submit your offer to the listing agent. It validates to them.
In my case,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When I just realized that I've never done that form. I submitted the offer. I've got a contract, so I would assume I just need to go ahead and do that at my earliest convenience and send that over and have it signed.
Exactly. Yeah, and you'll see agents sometimes do it later in the fact, but it's a good practice to do it and submit it at the time of the offer. It's just validating the 3 that you had noted in MLS, Mr. Listing Agent. This document validates that that's my expectation for compensation to my brokerage, and then your brokerage will pay you based on your compensation plan.
Oh, I think he mentioned a new, some of these forms and things we've gone over.
Ooh. Hold on. Karen, your microphone broke up here.
Okay. I said when
You're breaking up.
Sound like Darth Vader.
Try to unmute yourself and try again. We're not sure what caused it. It's just.
Okay, now?
Perfect.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, magic.
Just remember, new construction, you're typically going to use a builder contract. That's different. Very often they will have the confirmation of agency included in their contract. They'll have compensation included in their contract. So sometimes new construction will be a little bit different.
We do not have a multiple offer disclosure notification.
Would you like me to add it for you?
Well, I want to see what else we don't have. I don't know if we have any of the village forms. Let me see.
Eddie, where are you adding that stuff? I know in the drive, but you know, I'm not great with the drive, but I'm poking around. I didn't see that other thing you added, but I probably just don't know where to look for it.
You're fine. So
Under day 4?
under day 4.
Okay. Where under day 4?
Angela, will you show us? Will you click on day 4, please? All right, now we've got 3 folders here. We've got sample docs MLS. That's the one with the contract Karen went over. The forms.
Okay, I have a question. My stuff is not showing up like that.
Hit Apple R for refresh.
I mean, even in general, before all this, it's not showing up like that. It shows up like, I don't know. It doesn't look like that, like in order and in files. It's like all spread out. That might be a way.
Okay, you might have to change your view.
That might be a Wade thing. I can ask him, or I can talk to you after this. No worries. Keep going.
I'd like you to see it. There's a little square box. Does your screen, are you on your drive?
Uh-huh.
Okay, right after day 4, do you see to the right, you see some people and then you see a grid? Angela, can you go over there for that for me? You see the grid over there to your right? No.
Oh, right here?
No.
Sorry, Teddy. You want to share and do yours?
Yeah, my stuff, none of my stuff looks like that. All my stuff is like, I don't know. I can send you a picture of what it looks like.
Can we share her screen?
We can, but I'm gonna
That might be a little advanced. I can ask you in a minute. You can keep showing. I've printed off most everything. I'm just not seeing everything like y'all are. It's not, I don't know.
Are you seeing my Safari screen?
Not yet.
I just turned it off here. Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to bog everybody down. We can.
You're not bogging people down. Okay, so are you able to, over here where you see this grid?
My stuff looks like that, like you just had it.
Okay, well, see where I'm clicking right here? Just click on this button and it'll look different every time. It just toggles.
Do that. Show me again where you're clicking. Oh, the grid. Okay. Okay. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. That's helpful.
Helpful for everyone. If you've got the question, likely it will help somebody else too. So once they're click day 4, then you'll see it comes up here. So I could always go back, watch my mouse here, go back to JumpStart, go back to day 4, into forms. If I wanted to look at these differently, I would hit the grid. It'll show it as an icon.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing.
Or a thumbnail. That's a mess. Get out of that. Go to a list view.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that was an option, but I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. All right, what can I load here for you, Angela and Karen?
Okay, we don't have any of the village docs
You're fired.
or the multiple offer form.
The village docs for the multiple offer form.
And the multiple offer form.
Okay.
And Suzanne, just so you know, you rarely are going to access your documents here. You,
Right.
for the most part, are going to do all this on Transaction Desk, but if you ever do need to go get these forms, they're here.
Okay.
But all of these contract forms are on your Transaction Desk or .lib, whatever you choose to use. All of these forms are on Transaction Desk. And that's where you'll fill them out. They're set up as fillable PDFs, so you can fill all of them out on Transaction Desk and everything.
I put the multiple offer document in there already.
Do you? I didn't see it. Do you?
Let me drop it here again. I did
I thought
already.
I saw it just a minute ago.
It may take a minute to refresh it.
I just dropped it again.
There it is. Right after repair replacement
All right,
proposal.
why don't you guys go over that and I'll drop, which village forms are you wanting?
They are on the outline. There's about 4 or 5 of them. The trusted provider.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to minimize y'all for a second.
All right, I'll just pull them from the outline.
Thank you. Now I'm in that view. That's that one. I need to get out of this view, sorry.
Just hit the grid like we did before, right?
Ah!
Okay, you're in your drive. You need to go back to shared with me.
Gotcha. That's where I'm
Down to
wrong.
JumpStart. That's the instructor folder. Go down to the agent folder right there. There you go.
Thank you.
So
I
welcome.
was doing so good with sharing my screen today.
You did great. This is going to give you an A on a curve.
Oh, I'm getting an A- now.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, so. Hey, Karen and I were just happy that we were able to upload forms on this thing.
Yeah,
We're so proud of ourselves.
Very proud of you both. Y'all are winning.
Okay,
I think it's right after, Angela, I think it's
here
right
it is.
after. Got it?
There you go, Karen.
Okay, so you found the perfect property. Just at the same time, 5 other agents found the perfect property for their clients. And you receive this form. You submit your offer, and then you get this form back. This is the listing agent notifying you that they've gotten multiple offers on the property. It also withdraws any counter offer if one has been sent out. And then it usually will give a deadline of when they're going to look at all the offers and make a decision. So there's a form for it, and you can use a form. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that every listing agent in Middle Tennessee is going to use this form. They may send you an email. They may send it out through showing time saying, we've received multiple offers, and please have any offer, your highest and best offer to us by such and such a time.
I've seen this about one time.
Yeah, so you don't, I think a lot of agents think you must use a form to disclose multiple offers. So I just want to clear that up. You don't have to. There's lots of ways that they can do that. And the email through showing time is very popular because they can send that to everybody who showed the house.
And have you put the few village forms in there, Teddy?
They are coming. They are coming.
We're almost done, guys. I promise. These forms are very easy. The next forms that we're going to go over, these are village forms that on top of the TAR forms that village likes to use in addition to the other forms. You want to see the view from my window?
Sure, punish us.
Oh. I thought you were like about to make a break for it.
Can you see?
It looks terrible.
That's where I'm going next.
I'll bet. What floor are you on?
The 8th.
Must be tough.
It's tough life. Someone's got to do it.
All right. Oh, see how that form do you see the folder in there that says village forms - needs docs?
Got it.
I created that for you all on May 11th. Love you. I'm glad you're laughing. Hilarious.
We didn't think that applied to us. We really didn't think we did village forms. I think we found out late in the game that we were doing village forms.
Yeah, typical agents, blame it on somebody else.
Mhm.
I do it too.
Tried to
You
toss that
always
back.
want to be the source of the source, Teddy. You don't want to be the source.
Source. All right.
Okay, so this is what you're going to do for village clients. Anytime you do a listing agreement or a buyer agreement, and you're going to disclose that village has a relationship with Rudy Title and F&B Mortgage. They are not required to use these providers, but this just discloses our relationship with them. This also has a wire fraud disclosure again, similar to what we had talked about at the end of the purchase and sale agreement. And you will have them sign right here and right here. This is not for the other party. This is just for your village client. So buyers, if it says buyer and seller on here, but that is only for a village seller or a village buyer. Does that make sense?
And
This
you
is
said
not,
with the contract.
I'm sorry?
Is this with the contract or?
No, I would do this with your listing agreement or your buyer's rep.
Okay.
Because if you get this signed with the buyer, with your contract, you're gonna have to remove this before you send your offer over to the listing agent.
Right.
So do this with your buyer's rep or your listing agreement. Oh, am I scrolling down, Teddy? Why is it going away from me? Okay, here we go. Base commission. This form is only required. So you know the $150 transaction fee that is charged for every village transaction by village? If you don't, there's a transaction fee of $150 for every transaction you do with village. Me as an agent can absorb that fee. So if I have a buyer who's purchasing a property and I get paid a 3% commission, I turn all my paperwork in to Village. Village is going to take out my cut to the brokerage, which is if I'm on a 70-30, they take out the 30%, and then they take out this 150. If you want to pass this on to your client, you can have them pay that here. You only have to fill this out if your buyer is filling or your seller is paying this fee. I know Teddy uses this almost every time because he charges a what do you call your fee, Teddy?
I call it a retainer fee or a transaction fee.
Okay, so if I write in here, so you fill out your brokerage, your firm address, your client's name. You come down here and you're going to put what that base commission is going to be. Well, I'll give you a little tip here. Anything over the $150 that you're charging your client goes directly to you without split. So if you want to put $5,000 in there and you can get away with it, you put $5,000 in there and 150 goes to Village, the rest goes to you. But in all reality, most agents will charge like a $300 or a $375 transaction fee. You can make that payable when you do this agreement, or you can make it at closing. Most people do it at closing, but that's up to you. But just know 150 is going to Village, and anything over that goes to you.
Guys,
So
it's not hard to charge that back to your client. Don't feel badly about charging this back to your client. It's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. So you pull this out, you explain it, you put whatever base commission in there that you're going to put. A lot of agents leave it the 150, and a lot of agents charge more than that and keep the difference. Because think about it, particularly with a listing, you're going to be out probably a minimum of $500 before you even put the listing onto the MLS. By the time you get the photographs, the brochures, and if the house has to be measured, you're going to be.
I tell everybody, like, outside of that 150, I'm like, I'm not like going to Tunica. I'm like, buying stuff to like promote this house and market this house, or it's all going towards fees. I'm not, going out to like a fancy dinner with this.
Just be careful about saying I'm passing on a fee. In my opinion, it sounds a bit kind of used car salesy, like, oh, so just know what it is and why you're charging it. So because your company charges you a fee, most buyers and sellers believe, well, that's not my problem, that's your problem. And that should be covered in your commission. So don't be prepared that objection will come. And so know why and what you're charging it for. And I have a whole class dedicated to that. We can talk about strategies of retainer fees and base commissions and transaction fees. So we'll cover that. That's been covered. I think I've already done that class. I can't even remember, but I'm almost certain I haven't.
Yeah, you have done this class, but just know this is only required if you're passing this on to your client in village terms.
We're charging this to your client.
Or if you're charging this to your client, yes.
Thank you.
If
And
you're
I don't mean to
absorbing
be
that
such a
fee, you do
stickler.
not have to do this form.
And y'all, you'll notice I don't mean to be such a stickler with language, but I am surgical with my use of language with people, including when I have to tell them to F themselves, as you heard, because your use of words and language, people will hold you accountable to. So do not be sloppy with this. It's not even about this form, it's about everything. If you mean addendum and say addendum. If you mean refrigerator or if you mean contingent, are what? On what? The playground's included. What playground? You need to mow your yard. The house is to be cleaned prior to closing. What does that mean? Professionally cleaned and a receipt to be provided to the buyer. So this is a time to get really and be very, very specific. So if it seems I'm nitpicky, there's a reason. I've been crushed by the biggest, baddest, and worst of them in my career.
So, and this next sheet, you're going to go through with Brent on every hopefully you have the transactions in this first year. I know you all will.
This is how you really get paid. Yeah, we won't.
This is really how you get. Yeah.
This form, when you turn this in, is when you see the money, typically in 24 to 48 hours in direct deposit if you choose.
Yes. So this is Village's form to tell them what to do with the money. So, and your checklist. So when you write a purchase and sale agreement, you write a listing agreement, you write a buyer's rep, look at this form because this is your checklist of what's required by TREC at minimum. This is not listing every document you could use. This is just listing the required by Village forms you have to use for every transaction. Does that make sense? Up here in this agency section, if you're the listing agent, just fill out this portion. If you're the selling agent, fill out this portion.
Do we put here, is this 5.5 or is this just what we're getting paid?
You are going to put 100% commission here. The only reason you would put a smaller portion, this has nothing to do with your split. This just has to do with how much of that commission. So for example, if me and you, Zach, are doing a deal together as Village agents and we're going to split it 50-50, I'm going to put Zach 50%, Angela 50%. It has nothing to do with what Village's take is on this.
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure that's under
This
listing.
is kind of an internal paperwork trail. So when they do our commissions, they know. So if me, you, and Karen are doing one and we're 33 1/3, 33 1/3, 33 1/3, we'll put that here.
I think he's asking the percentage question up there, the listing.
Right here, this is
The
100%.
agency gets. So if you're getting,
Oh, 3%, yes.
that's where you put.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because like,
Sorry.
the seller does 5, well, like for example, does 6%, that's what I was making sure. So I didn't put 6%. I put,
No, the listing agent's offering you 3% here
yeah.
of a $500,000 home.
Okay.
And then Zach's getting 50% of that paid to village, and Angela's getting 50% of that to village, or Zach's getting 100% of that. So 3% typical would be 3% here, 500,000 here. Zach, 100%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you're representing the buyer, it's selling.
Same
You're
thing.
selling agency.
Yeah, same thing.
Is this where you put referral percentages as well?
Good. Thank you for mentioning that, Sierra. Right here at the bottom, you're going to put any referral information if
You're in
applicable.
it to win it, my friends. You just
Got
wait.
this.
1 year, you're going to see some serious numbers going on with this team. Everybody on here. The rest of those slouches that ditched us, they're going to be missing. I know your names. I see you not on here. I got you. I'll see you in the hallway. Your brokers know.
Yes, we do. Okay.
You are going to need, let's say it's a buddy of yours in Charlotte, North Carolina, sends you the referral, you are going to need their tax ID number. It does ask for that. So get that from them before you turn this form in. Susan will have to have that before she can send the brokerage a check.
Yes. And if that stuff's not turned in, you will not get paid. So you have to have that turned in.
Timeline on that. So like we went to closing, signed all the stuff. Would we turn that in along with those forms? After
Yes.
the fact,
Settlement statement?
after closing, I would like beeline to village. Here's all my-
When
ahead.
I'm turning in this Alta final disclosure and title check, or right before, I would upload this to VMint.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you this, these last 3 items, they will be delivered probably by courier to village, or if the check's ready when you're at a closing, they will hand you these items. Hand this into any front desk at village. So you can, if you're at the East office, you can go there. If you're at Franklin, you can come to Franklin. If you're at 21st, hand those to Rachel. Hand those, but already have this form in VMint. If this is not in VMint, you are not getting paid. So right before closing, I'd probably have this in there. You're never going to probably check these unless you're hand delivering it, because that's going to be all delivered by courier or by you at closing to the front desk.
How much is the referral fee typical? If I may have slipped through that, did we talk about that, or what's normal, or should we save that for another day, or what?
It's whatever you negotiate. I guess I would say the typical referral fee from agent to agent in another city or even local would be probably 25% is pretty typical.
Okay.
But it's whatever you negotiate.
What about somebody that's not an agent? Like, when somebody refers you a client,
Can't pay unlicensed people.
can't pay unlicensed people. Okay.
And what about, I see all the time people saying we'll pay to do open houses. What's the typical, like, that you pay somebody to work an open house for you, or that you would get paid if people are paying?
I usually see 50 or $100 if they're paying,
Okay.
but it might be something else. They might get you a gift card.
Right.
But I think that all goes to the broker, right, Karen?
No, right.
Okay, this is the village authorization and waivers indemnification form. Wait, do we require this?
New construction
Oh yeah, new construction, you're right.
and totally remodeled or something. Listings and
I'll
new.
show you.
Don't
Yeah,
hesitate ever.
listings. Here it is right here. And my kids are getting impatient. They're being loud. Sorry.
List
So,
side, new construction.
List side and new construction only.
So
This
if you have a
form.
buyer who's buying a existing home, you would not need this.
So what this, Angela, do you mind if I jump in and share a couple things on this?
You go right ahead.
You can mute if you want. You can just scroll with me here. This form is important here as far as listing goes, most importantly on construction. If you are representing new construction, there's been lawsuits that have come against the agent saying that Village and or you had certain knowledge rights about the quality of that construction. This form is what helps indemnify you from that. So make no mistake, you don't want to miss this one, my friends. The indemnification form. Anytime selling new construction, same thing on open houses, that you'll facilitate an open house, but shit gets stolen. So there was an agent years ago that was taking prescription meds from different open houses and showings he was doing. I share this not because it's prevalent, but you know, these are problems out in the business, right? So don't ever take for granted your safety first and foremost, but your liability and reputation second. And this form is what helps protect some of that. Same thing with some marketing details. We'll let you review that, page 2. Can you scroll over, Angela?
I want to pause here because we
sorry.
have a new clear cooperation policy, which you will hear a million times about, and I highly suggest you go. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not the form to waive that 48-hour entry into MLS. That is an MLS separate form now, and they are in the process of updating these forms. So do not pay attention to that number 2.
Yeah, I saw Colin post something a while ago, like in Village Exclusive, that we were getting dinged for not getting things on like real tracks fast enough or something of that nature.
That's the new clear cooperation. You have to have it in MLS within 48 hours. And as coming soon.
Of putting a sign out. Yeah, or taking the agreement.
Of listing agreement.
Sorry.
Of listing agreement. You have to have it in MLS as coming soon.
Oh, okay.
Of signing a listing agreement, you have to have that in real tracks within 48 hours.
What if
If it's coming soon, you cannot show it until you go active with that listing. You cannot show it as a coming soon now.
Oh, really? Okay.
There is a form in MLS that you can fill out that's the seller would be agreeing to not market that property, and that's the only time you can't put it in MLS. We used to use this form for 48-hour waive to put in MLS because you have to get pictures done and you have to get something, done to the house. Well, now MLS does not let us do that. We have to put it in MLS. You can put that pictures coming soon, and it'll let you put it coming soon for 30 days. You just have to remember to go back in MLS and renew that 30 days if you need longer. So this is really this number 2 will be going away because you have to do it via the MLS form now.
Well, this number 2 is just letting them know that we're going to share it with lots of other participants. And so once we put it in MLS, then it's going to go out and it's going to show up on multiple websites. And, my spiel on that is I'll make sure it's correct what I have in MLS. But if some other site lists it differently than how I have it in MLS, that's not something I have control over.
On this marketing section here.
Yeah, I'm making sure I understood because
She's talking about the marketing section.
well, how can I advertise like a coming soon? Like, how could I tell you guys about my property if I and you guys can't get in and see it or like show it if it's not?
So MLS, or actually this is an NAR rule now. And I would highly suggest you go back and actually in a few weeks, we're going to have MLS actually come in and talk to us in a sales meeting. But basically a nutshell of clear cooperation. You sign a listing agreement, you have it in MLS in 48 hours is coming soon. During that coming soon period, you can advertise the heck out of it. Facebook, Instagram, mailings, however you want to advertise that home, you can advertise. You can put your for sale sign out as coming soon. You cannot show it until you go active. It is basically boils down to they're trying not to discriminate against other agents that didn't have, because a lot of agents had gotten their clicks. And for instance, we're in West Haven, Karen used to be, and I am. And we have kind of the certain agents that we text out to and say, y'all have this property coming, y'all need to sell it. It sells before it goes on the market. This is eliminating that. This is trying to say that all agents have access to the same property.
It's not eliminating it. You still make an offer contingent upon seeing it, and boom, you're a winner, right? It's just, it's not a bad thing, y'all.
No.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's like taxes. So those are the rules. It's got to go in the MLS within 48 hours. You just can't show it, period.
If you show it, you've got to make it active.
That's right.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then we'll go down. Anything here? I think we've gone over this in the purchase and sale.
All right. Angela, I'm muting you because all of a sudden your mic just went bananas. So let me try to unmute you again. Hold on. Okay. Testing. Can we hear you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep. Perfect.
Well, I bet what happened is everyone's come up from the beach and they're probably everyone's on a device. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I bet everyone's on a device in my household.
You got to take a
and
picture.
it's probably... Okay, real quick. If you go into multiple offers and you want to make your offer look great, we use an escalation clause, and Villages come up with this one that you can do your escalation clause. How in depth do you want me to go?
Did we talk about escalation clauses yet? I feel like we did. Sierra, Suzanne, you're on my screens.
Well, let me state this. If you want to do an escalation clause, which basically says that if you have other offers, you'll go above that offer up to a certain amount.
We did.
Get with your broker because
I
you
thought.
need assistance with this. So
Be careful. It's probably not for your first time home buyer.
no, this is for someone that definitely has funds to do this.
It may absolutely be needed to be used for your first time home buyer though, because see that is a lot of times where you're going to see
Maybe
most.
the only way.
But
Right.
be sure they can afford what you put your cap at. Does that
Cool.
make sense, everyone?
All right, can we take a 6-minute break?
I think we're through all the
We're
forms.
done.
We're not done. You think you're done. I still have to finish this whole thing out. So y'all go get on the beach. I'll see everybody that's non-instructors in 6 minutes. 3.
Thank you, everyone. Please
Give our
reach
love to
out.
Karen and Angela.
And you all are welcome at the Franklin
all.
office anytime. Come on out. You just have to wear a mask and get a temperature check, but come on out.
We'll see you in 2021 at the Franklin office. All right, come back at 3:27. 3:27, please. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So we ready to be done? Yes. All right. Well, we're just about there, and I want to finish out quick and strong. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for enduring all of this, and I wish I could say this is it, but it's really just the beginning. But of course, there's so much that we've covered. There's much more to learn, and there's plenty of places in which you're going to learn that. So we have recordings of all of that. We're going to go over a little bit of technology, as I promised I would do, and give you some of my tools, tips, tricks, and ways in which I help, keep this madness together and send you forth. And so I want to wrap up any follow-up questions, and I also want to thank you so much for your patience and grace. As you can see that this isn't a perfect class. There's a lot of building a bike while you're riding it, and even though this will be, I think, the second, maybe third time we've done this, maybe second. Yeah, it's only our second time doing it this way, so we're getting better each time. Do you have any questions before I move into technology about where we are thus far or things you have concern about? I'd love to hear where you have concerns so I can make sure you know the places and resources where you can get answers. I know it's like, just call your broker, just call your broker, just call your broker. It's like, oh God, they're going to hate me. That's not totally true. That's part of why you have Brent Cooper as your mentor as well. And you have these resources as that are recorded and are viewable again. So questions, concerns, anxiety. Feel free, unmute, rock and roll. That's what this time's for.
When is the next JumpStart, if there is going to be a live one?
I love that question. Look at Zach Sola. He's in here for round 2, and he's been here almost every day. I'm very proud of him. In fact, I think he has been here.
Every day.
Yeah, every
It's only
day.
short.
So let's look at when. I just wish it would give me like the whole thing. Like, just give me my whole darn screen. Well, I have you on. I will pull up the JumpStart calendar and tell you when the next JumpStart is going to be. Other questions?
What are we drinking?
Oh gosh, it might as well be Friday for me.
Like every other month, because Jeff and I watched the May one, but it was overwhelming. So we were hoping this one would be in person and sat back in it, but it was Zoom too. But it's been helpful to be more like engaged in it versus just watching it. So I would say that for sure.
Yeah. Was watching it. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I really appreciate just being able to hop in. I took this with Bobby a few months back, and it was fantastic. And I really appreciate the Google Drive with all of those helpful documents, and I really appreciate being able to copy and paste all of your knowledge. That's really going to help.
I'm so glad you appreciate it. Because there is no question that it was a labor of love to create. And I use the words love loosely.
It was a lot of hard work, and that's such a gift to share that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, everything that I do, I look at, well, if I have the problem or question, you can't tell me that hundreds others don't, or that it hasn't been done before, right? Like, that's like the part sometimes that I just go, this has been done before. Why is there not an answer to this, and where is it written down? Like, why do I have to be the guinea pig to all this, right? So that part, let's see here. I didn't think this would be such a difficult question, but my head is a little bit mush. Education calendar. I didn't either. Other questions?
Next time when you have your next JumpStart,
Yes.
it would be really helpful to know what we're doing on each day. Did I miss that? Is it plotted somewhere?
Yeah, it's in your outline. So in the JumpStart Drive folder, there should be an outline.
Through the whole folder. Okay, great.
Yeah, there's an outline there. It should show you each day and how to, each day. Yeah.
I don't think it's really possible to do it kind of via Zoom, but you know, when we kind of like walk through the scenarios together, like, you know, assign somebody the role of like buyer, assign the role of agent, and we kind of like walk through the buyer's consultation. Like, obviously we learned how to do a buyer's consultation, all that stuff was very helpful, but you know, really sitting down and walk it and just kind of having like a mock version of it.
Very possible, and that's the kind of feedback I want to hear is, to me, there's better ways, and so I'm working with the same team here as far as filling in their parts, and, you know, I'm a control freak, and I'm a perfectionist, and I've got a crass mouth, and, you know, so you can see me over here just trying to, like, keep it together as I let everybody, and we're all trying to share. It's hard, not who's speaking, but I love the mock thing, because to me, that's the way I learn, is I need to see it in action. you know, you can tell me about the form, but till I see it working, like, so today it frustrates me because I want to see a counter 1 and a counter 2 so you can see how that part goes. And so that's much easier in person, but I still believe there's a possibility and a way in which to do that. So thank you for that feedback. Other ways we can improve. What do you see that you saw that you went, God, this was a mess, or we could do this differently?
This is my second time taking the class. I took it in January as well as Stephanie and Zach. And I think the part for me, like all the marketing stuff is really fun and contracts are the not so fun part. And I think for me, it's like actually filling it in as we go. I love that it's pre-filled so we can see it, but for me, I'm never gonna really learn it until I'm doing it. But I signed up for the contract class and I'm gonna learn some more, but yeah, just I like how interactive you tried to make this class with all of us and made it really fun, you know, and just like Stephanie said, the Google Drive is just priceless. Any anxiety I had, just knowing that that's there, just is a massive relief. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And it's a great point. It's been discussed every class as to how could we have them fill it in with us or on the way. And the challenge we have struggled with is that some people are at such different areas of technological expertise that in comfort in using the system. So all this stuff is great, but in a lot of ways, you got to learn the tools first, right? Of know what you want. I need a flat screwdriver or a Phillips screwdriver. So that's where the 3 keys to this business for me is you've got to learn RealTrax. You could be the best agent in the world. If you don't know how to use RealTrax well, it's going to fail you. Look at my silly head here. My mortgage lender made for me that's screwing up my virtual background. You got to know RealTrax. In, out, sideways. Take every RealTrax class. Take it twice if you need to. Second, you got to know Transaction Desk. You got to know it, love it, live it. It's just going to change your life as far as your efficiency and frustration and accuracy. So you got to know RealTrax. And the third is you got to know RealTrax, Transaction Desk. You got to know the paperwork. You don't
I
have
did
to,
this the other day that Jeff and I have been taking the Transaction Desk classes, and you can record those. Go ahead and take them yet. They're an hour each. You just sign up for them. They're free. And you can record them. So that way, if you watch it once, we get it in our log, you can always go back. So FYI.
That's great. Where do you sign up for the Transaction Desk classes?
I may have said Transaction Desk. I meant RealTrax.
Oh, I was like, hey, Transaction Desk is offering a class. That's great.
And Brent teaches a Transaction Desk class at Village the last Thursday of the month. 1 month is Transaction Desk, and the next month is what, Teddy? I can't remember.
you mean the VMint?
Maybe. I know Brent every other Thursday at the end of the month. I think it's at 11. He teaches Transaction Desk 1 month and something the other month.
And VMint. That's where you input all your documents to get paid through Village. VMint and Transaction Desk.
But
Yep.
all the RealTrax stuff you can record. Just FYI.
Yes. That's pretty awesome. I didn't know you could record RealTrax classes. Yes, Stephanie.
And with Transaction Desk, if you go down to the support, they have like 7 tutorial videos that you can watch. They're like an hour long, and they're pretty great too.
Yes. All right, so let's look at how the hot dog's made here. So here's my Village calendar. I've got the Corona version. You'll love that. So as we've made changes. So the next JumpStart looks like it's going to be likely in September. September for the next JumpStart class. The other place that I was going is you said like Transaction Desk. So in Transaction Desk, of course, Brent will help you with that and get your logins, and there's trainings in there. Okay, you'll see this little wolf icon. That's because it's owned by Lone Wolf out of Canada. They're the ones that run our Transaction Desk. You'll also hear something called .loop. .loop is an amazing transaction contract writing software. It is accessible to you at Village. It is owned by Zillow, so the conspiracy theorists think you are giving your information to Zillow, and in some ways you are, but it works way better than Transaction Desk. First things first, we master Transaction Desk. And then RealTracks. In RealTracks, they have a great support chat. If you ever get lost, you just want to go to support chat or you call RealTracks. Okay, so you don't need to sit and wait to get answers to something there. Try to go through the classes or something like that. So you can see the class schedule. I went under help, sign up for a class, virtual online training, sign up for a Zoom. Oh wow, no shortage of classes, my friends. The 2 weeks you took to get your license was nothing. That's really just to get you past the license, to get you the paper, to screw up people's lives like most of us did when we started. So now we got to go through and become an expert of in the trenches with this. So if you have any questions about these, I'm not kidding. Make a note and take every one of these, and I would take it twice. It's just invaluable. And there is a lot here. Don't get overwhelmed. That's why you have Brent as a mentor and access to me as to, okay, what do I do next? That's so glad you asked, Ted. What an amazing segue. So if we go to our, let me reshare. I have to stop my share and share another screen here. As I'm pulling that up, any other feedback or thoughts about these different sections? What about putting marketing at the end and contracts in the middle? Do you think that we did this in the right order, or do you see a different order that would make more sense?
I was just going to say, I had to step away. Sorry, I had a phone call. I was kind of brain dead all day Friday, and I thought that was like one of the longest days.
Okay.
You know, it's Friday. Your mind is kind of already towards the weekend, and I thought that went like extra long. And I was, like I said, I was kind of afternoon. I was just kind of lost. So I thought that was a lot of information, and I thought it was rough to do it on a Friday. Just my opinion.
I appreciate the feedback. Other thoughts on that?
This is just kind of an organizational thing, but I think it would be nice to take one house through the entire process. So for, I think it was Angela who did the RealTracks thing. So comparing the comps on that one address, selling that house, buying that house, that sort of thing.
I like that suggestion. Thank you. That will be changed. Others. Others. Okay. All right, so let's, any others? Well, you know where to reach me. I am all ears to hear those things. Let's go into what's next, and I have so many windows open. Yeah?
Where do you put the recorded sessions? Is it on our YouTube or is it somewhere else?
So great. It is. It's on the Village YouTube channel. Yes.
Awesome. Thanks.
It is on the Village YouTube channel, and they are in a section called JumpStart.
JumpStart, heard.
And if there's a delay getting those up there, it's because it'll just be a short delay. It should be up there within a couple of days. There's some editing that has to happen. There's nothing fancy. We just cut out anything that's got copyright issues on music that prohibits YouTube from posting those. And Belle, the office manager at the East office, assists me with that. So, Okay, let's see here. Where do we go from here? All right, so next thing is hands-on tech setup for tech tools and tech notes. So here's I've shared some of these things with you. I want to talk tech for a little bit, and we will be done by 4, I assure you. So Evernote, I talked to you about my Evernote system that I use. Does anybody have a question on note-taking and keeping everything organized there? Just raise your hand as we go through these. I want to certainly answer your questions, and it'll be in quick fire. The biggest recommendation I can give to you is organization. And it may look like, you know, my screen behind me or what you've been seeing is not organized, but I do keep things in folders. You can't really over folder something. So think in categories. Your computer and your notes are just like a file cabinet. If you ever start getting confused, you just go, okay. The way that I organize sellers and buyers, if they're in my record, I will share with you here. Let's see here. Let's do a different screen share. I wish it would just like share everything on my screen. I don't know why it's only asking me for one screen. I know that's my limitation, and it's normally just share everything that I'm looking at on my screen. I used to have that option, and for some reason I don't. That's when you know you're starting to be one of those older agents, if you will. Okay, so I am going to, come on. All right, are you seeing Zoom? You're seeing my Finder right here? So this is, again, a little bit about how the hot dog's made. So these are my shortcuts over here. I keep a folder called TP Clients. In TP Clients, the way that I organize my files, you'll see if they have ones in front of them for things that I use often. I keep a coming soon folder for things that are coming that I don't have under contract or I don't have paperwork on. This has nothing to do with contracts yet. A client is somebody that's a buyer or a seller, and they are a client as soon as they sign a buyer's rep agreement or a listing agreement. You're coming soon if I have you on deck to be signing one of those things. The file system, you'll see as a seller, I use the listing address if you are a seller. I use the buyer's name if you are a buyer prospect. That way I don't have to know if they're buyer or sellers. I know they're a seller because it's an address versus a buyer's name. Does that make sense? All right, that's how I organize my files as far as clients go. And you can see once I get in there, see it says master file structure, do not delete. So in here, this is how I use my, so I copy all these folders every time I create a new folder, electronic folder for a seller, because these are all the things that I use every time. You could take screenshots of this if you wanted. I can share one as well. I'll take one. And that way, each time then I'll open all those up. So every time when I get a new folder, then I can put those things in there. Like here's my listing documents, here's my closing documents, any HOA documents, any marketing photos. And in photos, I separate MLS photos from old photos, new photos, client photos. You can't organize this stuff enough because you're going to be on the go, on the drive, and it just gets way, 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 way hectic. Okay? Questions about my filing system with respect to that? Helpful? Okay, cool. All right. What else? 1Password. So it's not if, it's when you're going to lose your data. You could literally throw this phone in the street right now, and I could have a new one uploaded and ready in less than 5 minutes. Don't let your life, your clients, your family, or your stress be the demise of stupid technology. These stuff is just, they're just sticks and bricks. They're replaceable, but the data is what you need. So make sure if you don't have your data backed up that you get it backed up, and you either come up with a system of using iCloud or other things. One of my secrets that I use is I use a program for passwords because I don't have time to remember all of that. I use a program called 1Password, the number 1Password. It syncs across all my devices and all my passwords are there. All my credit cards, everything is there. Everything, everything, everything. So go ahead and break into it and have my life because it's all in there. And they're regarded as one of the best password companies in the business. You could also use the one built into your phone. They're getting a lot, they're apparently pretty awesome now. A backup system, like I said, there's other machines like Time Machine. Most backup systems are built into Mac now. Here's what I want you to know. Do not try to become an expert in passwords or backup systems or things that you are not going to pay your bills. Okay, so as Suzanne mentioned, she uses my computer guy, Wade Fulton, ex-Realtor. But if funds were tight, I'd ask Wade, hey, could I swap for you? Could I work a deal for you? These are good people out there that want to help you. So just find ways in which you could collaborate. Maybe 2 or 3 of you got together and asked for an hour of Wade's time to share with us how to get my email up and going. Village has some resources inside too. Okay, let's see, apps that I use. These are apps that I would put on my phone, and I will put some of these in the chat. I know there's more. If you come up with some while we're on the phone here or ending our call here, we can talk about those too. So 1Password backup systems, showing time. So in my phone, on the main page, and again, it's time to get organized. We judge you folks that have like Snapchat on your home page. This is, let me get rid of my let me get rid of my background here because nobody needs to be that healthy. All right, back in the madness. So my phone has organized by folders, right? Things I use the most are right at my fingertips, and what I use the most is closer to my thumb at the bottom. I'm literally that intentional about it because you do not have time. Again, so in here I have a folder called real estate. I'm sorry for the blurriness. And in real estate, I have the following. I have like for sale by owner, realtor.com, Zillow, HomeSnap, CentriKey, Redfin, Showing Time, RPR, Zillow Mortgage. This is recorded, you could watch these. FEMA for flood maps, Parks app, Forewarn, Sherman-Williams Color Snap. If you haven't used that, I can paint your room while you hate the color while we're standing in it real time. So you can literally paint the house, paint the exterior, interior using Color Snap. I can color match walls and all that using Color Snap. That's Sherman-Williams app. Let's see here. House, Compass, EXP. I keep just people. I want to know what other people are doing. All right, and then I have Core. Under my Core, I've got Village, Google Calendar, 1Password, Drive, Dropbox, Dotloop, Google Sheets, Google Keep. Google Keep is another form. If you're going to use the Google suite of products like Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Keep is the note-taking version of like notes in your phone, or what I use is Evernote. So what I would encourage is try to pick one platform and use it. If you're on Mac, use the Mac platform. What I find the reason I use Evernote is because it's a little more robust of a note system for me to organize my notes. So I have a folder called Village Education of Notes. Within that I have JumpStart, I have Thrive, I have our growth classes. I haven't found that functionality yet within the Apple Notes software. But Google's suite of products, Google Keep is a note-taking tool. And what you want is, the most important thing is you don't want to have to think about syncing, and that it's accessible with all your devices. While we're sitting here, while I've been doing all this training, I'm getting texts on my computer. That's why part of why I use a Mac, is because I don't have time to like for texting, because most people use text the most. So that's why I use a Mac. It's one of the biggest reasons. Don't use Apple Maps. They're horrible. It'll get you lost. I use Google Maps or Waze. Keep a music streaming service on your phone because you're going to want to need it, and you're going to need it in open houses when you're working those. Why it got so dark in here? Let's see here. I keep Home Depot and Lowe's on my phone. I am a frequent member of Costco and use their credit card and get a ton back on it. As I told you before, pick a business credit card, stick to it, and keep it separate. Keep it separate. I can't tell you enough. And save for your taxes. Let's see what else is fancy or tricky in here. Pinterest. I don't find that social media to be a place to build a clientele, but I think there's great ideas in there, and I'll create boards for those. I keep a lot of things in notes as well, like all the phone numbers for the utility companies to give to my clients. So I have an email that says, let's get ready to close. And it tells that buyer and seller everything they need to know 1 week prior to closing to help keep them on track, and more importantly, me on track. Questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? All right. Cool. Last thing that I'll share is, like I said, is what's next? Is what's next with Brent. So you're going to schedule one-on-one with Brent. I don't want you doing any documents or transactions without reviewing them with Brent or your broker. I want you to sync your Village calendar to your devices. Attend Brent's weekly mentor classes, his transaction classes, his VMint classes. You're going to be doing a mock contract with Brent. I want you to attend all the RealTracs training courses. And Jeremy and Caitlin, they're going to do a session with you on marketing and any systems within house. So if you have questions about that, Brent will be able to help you with that. And getting you a 30, 60, 90-day checklist. Okay? Makes sense? All right. Before we get off, I want to hear at least 3 bucket list items from everybody on this call. If you didn't write them down, I want to hear one made up. Who wants to go first? Emily, you're smiling. You're up.
Okay, it's on my phone, but one was speak fluent Spanish.
Nice.
I want a swimming pool someday in my life.
Good.
And someone who can maintain it for me, because I'll be so busy selling houses, I'll need
Heck,
some.
yeah, we need a pool person.
Yeah, and then the third is have a successful career in real estate.
Did you call me?
You are on your way, my friend. Congratulations. Let's give her some love. Let's give her some love. All right, Stephanie, you're unmuted. Go ahead. I want to hear them.
Want to go to Thailand.
Yep.
I want to sell 15 more houses this year.
Nice goal.
And I want to dominate my social media.
Nice. I like that. All right. We'll make sure to follow or friend us, and we'll be sure to return it back. I love it. I love it. All right. Who's next? I see you unmuted. Sierra?
Hey, so I said be financially free by the time 2025 rolls around.
Love it.
Donate a college education by 2025.
Love that.
And live abroad for a year by 2035.
Ooh, I like that one too. Love it. I assume you have more. Who has 30? You don't have to lie, but if you got 30, raise your hand. I'm so proud of you. Nice. Look, very impressive. Hey, look, you don't have 30, you're on your way to 30, and I am so proud of you for those that did it, and I know you're thinking, like, why do I have to do this? Maybe you did, and you enjoyed it, but I encourage you to keep going with it. Add 5 a week. Just be consistent with it. Okay, here's some others. Lyle, would you share some of yours with you? Give us 3 or feel free to go more. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, okay, I'll do 3. One thing I've always wanted to do is visit Italy. I'd like to become debt-free. And then the third thing is one day I want to go on a meditation retreat just to clear my mind.
You will need that within 24 months of selling real estate. So let's start planning. Start the cookie jar for that one. I too,
Yeah.
I did one of those in 2013, and I am ready again. Those are
I
great.
think I need it now.
Don't be afraid. There's no time like the present. This is a good time to take some you time. All right, who's next? Can we call on you? All right, you. Zach.
Okay. I'll do a couple things. I want to go to all the Grand Slams in tennis. There's 4 of them. They're all across the globe. So I've kind of covered some travel stuff. I want to master time blocking, work-life balance, and I want to create a positive culture with anything I'm involved in.
I like it. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is 2 things, Zach. I want you to make sure that you can measure these goals. How could I measure? How would I know when I got there? So when mastery has to mean something, so we can only we need to be able to measure it, and I want a date. So I'm going to encourage everybody to try to put a date by when you want to accomplish these things. It's not pressure. It's just amazing how if you haven't read the book The Secret or watched that movie, it's just manifesting. You just put it out there, and the universe has a way of lining things up for you. Yeah, awesome. Who's next? Come on, come on.
I'll go.
Yeah, Carolyn.
I want to flip a house by 2025. I want to go to Japan. And then I fly fish, and I said that I want to learn to tie every fly I use.
Repeat that last one.
I fly fish, so I want to learn to actually be able to tie every fly I use.
Whoa. All right, that's impressive. How long have you been fly fishing?
Like my whole life since I was a kid.
I love it. All right, I want to learn to fly fish, so I'll find out more about that. Love it, love it. Yes. Who else we got? Who hasn't gone yet?
I'll go.
Come on, cowboy.
Buddy, I want to play Augusta National.
Heck yeah. There's a good one.
And I've got 30 things here. Maybe just spend more time with my nephews and get more involved in their lives. And probably number one is just find somebody that I can do my 30 things with. And I hope she's out there.
She's out there. Who
I don't
doesn't?
know, buddy.
I get it. I'm not sure mine is either. The one I got, we work at it every day. But you know, the thing about sharing your goals is you want to do it in a way that touch, moves, and inspires people. And I don't know, him saying it's his number one, who doesn't feel a little bit apart? I would love to see that happen. That's the beauty of setting goals, but more importantly is sharing them. If you don't share them with people, other people can't help ignite the fire. And the key is other people. It's the whole thing to real estate. The game is not in here. The game's out there. And sharing and being humble enough to ask people and tell people what you're playing for. So, awesome. Thank you for sharing that and being, I'd love to hear that number one. We're going to get the criteria about that on our next visit. We'll save that for the next Wednesday Thrive call. We want to know what she, what characteristics we can help you find her.
Maybe she works a village.
Maybe.
I'll go. I want to take my kids or go with the family to Exuma and swim with the pigs. And I want to buy a ski boat or a wakeboard boat maybe, and go see Mount Rushmore.
Ooh. I know, controversial. We might have to see it before it goes. Too soon. All right. Well, if you're so inclined, I would love to see your bucket list, and I'm happy to share mine. You don't have to, but I would love to see what you're into and up to. And I put my email address. You know how to get me. It's in the chat. And like I said, the beauty is my passion is helping other people get what they want. And I know it is for all of you. And so the more I understand about what you're into and about, the better I can help you. And I guarantee you, we all know somebody that knows someone that can help everyone on this group with at least 5 things on their list. I have like no doubt and question about it. So if you're so inclined and you share them with me, when you share it with me, say, okay to share. I'll only share it amongst our group with JumpStart, and we'll keep this as kind of a group. If you'd be interested, I'd be happy to create even a little July group Facebook, so that we could just share it and keep connection that way, because this is a broader community of people out there as we launch from here. So I want to honor you and thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I wish you a great weekend. Oh, wait, it's only Monday. What does that mean? Monday is like a realtor weekend. It's like the least busy day in this business. Any parting thoughts or love? Okay, y'all. Go get them. So proud of you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, hey, that's it, everybody. Go forth. Take care, y'all.